Hi guys, it's Didi here, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about how to avoid the picky eating phase for your toddlers or preschoolers. Many of you have been asking me this question for a long time, and today I'm going to share my tips of how I managed so far to build healthy relationship with food with Mika. Mika is not picky about the food he eats, and lots of people consider that I'm lucky and they think that it's down to genetics. That's completely not true. I'm not lucky though. I put lots of effort in making sure that I help him build healthy relationship with food. When I was little, I was very picky about my food. I would hardly eat anything, and I did not enjoy most of the food that people would offer to me and my parents and at school, and I simply refused to eat it most of the time. So when I had Mika, I was pretty sure I want to make my part. I want to do my best to help him build some sort of healthy relationship with food. So it's not down to luck, it's down to habits that I put into place. And so far it's been working pretty well for me, and he is 3 years and 9 months of age almost now. Now the first and most important thing, if you want to build healthy relationship with food, is to change your diet. You're the role model, you are the person who your baby or your child is looking at to all the time, they're copying you. If you eat bland food and most rice and pizza and bread and stuff like that, and you expect your child to enjoy variety of food and colorful food, it is not going to work. You need to change your diet first. You need to make sure that what you put on the table, it's a healthy food, and you offer certain variety and diversity to your child. So it starts with you. I'm sorry, lots of parents ask me, how can I make sure my child eats vegetables and kale and broccoli or lots of fruits, but they don't eat themselves. And if you as a family don't eat healthy food, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna be easy for your child to embrace all the colors out there in relation to food. So change your diet, this is the first step. The second most important factor I consider is to let them feed by themselves, whether these are babies or toddlers or preschoolers. Pretty often I see parents who continue to feed their children, and that's okay if your child is happy with it. For example, even Mika sometimes, although he started as a baby, led-weaned baby, so he never been fed any puree, he's never been spoon-fed. Even him sometimes now wants to be fed if we're out in a restaurant or if he eats something which is not convenient for him. But most of the cases he's been eating by himself. Babies and toddlers, they love doing things for themselves. They love exploring, and quite often we parents think that they're not capable of doing it, and we are pushing them or we are feeding them, and this is something which they dislike. Give them the independence, and you may be surprised of how much they want to try new things. Another one is being mindful of the drinks and snack you offer to your child. This is something which I was very careful until Mika was probably almost 2.5, 3. I wanted him to know that when we sit in a restaurant out there or when we are out, the only thing he would drink is either a tea, and by tea I mean infusion, something like chamomile or peppermint, or water. I did not want him to expect that out there are lots of juices or lots of soft drinks that contain mostly sugar. Be mindful of the fact that if you start buying them something, for example, if you go cinema and you buy someone popcorns, every time when they go to cinema they expect popcorns. So be mindful that if you sit in a restaurant and every time when you go in a restaurant you order juice, every time they'll expect you to buy them juice. So the best drink is water, you don't need to buy anything else. Another thing that is important is don't label your child as a picky eater. And sometimes we think that our children don't listen to us, but trust me, they have that big ears, they hear everything we say, and if we tell to our friends and our family, oh, John or Mika or my child is so picky as regards to foods, guess what? They start being picky in regards to food. So make sure that you don't label them, and sometimes it's just a phase. You can do the opposite, you can label them as very explorative in regards to food and see what the result would be. But in general, avoid giving any labels that they can potentially take as part of their identity. Another thing is to share your meals. I know it's very hard these days. In most countries, people are so busy that they don't have time to have meals with their children. And quite often in the Western countries, because children go to bed early, what happens is that they eat by themselves and then mom or the carer is waiting for everybody else to come so that they can have dinner together. I would suggest, even if you're in that position and your child needs to eat a bit earlier, to make sure that you eat with them and share meals with them, even if not the whole family is together. Because on the table, when you have nice conversations, you create a good experience, you create something that they're looking forward to. And that's what you want. You want your child, when they're on the table, when they are eating, they're feeding themselves, to be surrounded by a good atmosphere and to feel that it's a very pleasurable experience. Another thing which really helps, and if your child is picky in regards to eating, probably that's the tip number one that I would try first, is to get them involved. Get them involved in the shopping, take them to farmer markets, explore, give them to smell different foods, give them to cut them, ask them to help you in the preparation of food. For example, you can cut a beetroot and put it in the water and show them how the beetroot changed the color of the water. In any different way you can come up with, make sure that you involve them, because when they are directly involved into cutting or touching the food or smelling the food, they are much more likely to try it. You can openly talk to your child, depending on their age, about food properties in the sense of what's healthy, what makes you stronger, what makes you sleepy. But if your child is too little, of course, they're not going to get it yet. Two things that you'd rather avoid if you want your child to build a healthier habit. First is don't force feed them. If you force feed your baby or your child, they build a resistance, and that's the last thing you want in relation to food. And second thing is, don't use food as a reward. I've seen out there lots of parents who are sharing with me that they do everything possible in the world to make sure their child is taking at least a couple of vegetables a day, and usually they offer some sort of rewards. This is not going to give the right message to your child, and this is a confusing message. This is really hard in the Western countries, where we embraced this system of rewards and punishment. If you do this, I will give you that, or if you do this, I'm gonna punish you. I will try to avoid that in any situation, not only in relation to food, but in relation to food specifically. And from those of you who have babies and about to introduce solids, please embrace color. Give them the opportunity to try different tastes, different consistencies, different smells, because babies are naturally very explorative, so they want to try all these things. There was a study done years ago with rats, not with humans, but the study showed that if rats were fed with bland foods such as milk, rice, pasta, this is the preference that then the rats, when they were adults, expressed towards food. So yes, building a taste, it's possible, we can help it. The babies have a very adventurous palate, and the best thing for you is to embrace color. So make sure every time when you give them their plate that there is lots of colorful things in it. And one last thing, even if your child is very adventurous, they eat everything, you're pretty happy with how healthy is their relationship with food, there is a time when they probably refuse to eat something which they've been eating before a lot. Mika certainly goes through these phases, and these are phases. And sometimes I need to remind myself that these are phases, because I, like everybody else, tend to think, okay, he doesn't eat eggs now, maybe he's not interested in eggs anymore, and he's out of this phase. But then a few weeks later, if I offer him eggs or I put them in the table, because we always share meals, he just says, I want egg today. So be mindful of the fact that they go through phases. Sometimes they go through phases that we have no idea what's going on with them. It could be the change of the season, it could be a growth spurt, it could be illness that we cannot detect. And that's why it's important for us to keep offering the food that we want them to eat. And something which works pretty well for me, it's I always tell a story to Mika. So I always tell him, oh, when you were little, you loved almond butter. You ate so much almond butter. And he's like, oh, really? When I was little, I ate a lot. And then sometimes he tries foods that he has forgotten for the last 12 months or 15 months, just because of the memory I've been giving to him. So that's it from me. I really hope that this video helps. And if you have any questions, as usual, please post them in the comment box below. I love answering your questions. And if you can share your tips about how you deal with the picky eating phase in your own experience, that would be great as well, because we can help other moms who are looking for this information. Thank you so much again for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumb up, share with your friends, and join me on Instagram as well, where I share lots of Instagram stories. Thank you. See you next Tuesday. Bye.